Welcome to 𝐂𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐑𝐄𝐔, talk about investing, finance, and professional development. At the time of 9:32 a.m. on the Eastern Time on November 3rd on Thursday. Hope you guys have a good week so far. Ethereum closed at $1,531, up about close to 1% so far. On the overall crypto market, I would say it's relatively stale and still kind of stiff around the 1550 level for Ethereum specifically, and just slightly above the 20,000 mark on Bitcoin. And if you look at across the overall crypto market, we are quite mixed bag, right? Some are up, some are down, but collectively speaking, I would say it's pretty much a relatively stale momentum that we're trading at right now. And as you remember from yesterday, apologies for not posting. I've been just traveling and also attending conferences. My life has just been a lot more social engagements. And what I mean by social engagement is not like I'm going out to party with friends. I'm talking about like networking and also speaking at conferences, going to board meetings and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of just engagements socially, but also on a relationship professional level. So I couldn't make it yesterday with my timing. But yesterday was a volatile day with the FOMC meeting. People were anticipating a negative day, and as we got the confirmatory signal from the result of the 75 basis point, which is something that we've been, expecting to happen. It had like a relief rally slightly, right? As the result came out around like 1 p.m. on the Eastern time yesterday. That was also the time when I was like having lunch with a client. And then subsequent to that, more verbiage on the media front start to kind of dampen the excitement from investors, saying that there's still a lack of hope with the softer tightening stance that the Fed is expected to be performing going forward. There's a lack of proactiveness going forward. There's still a lot of things lingering around with respect to next week, right? We have the election on the 8th. If you look at the calendar, we also have the 10th and 11th. And I believe the 10th is going to be the CPI report. The 11th is going to be the PPI report, which will triangulate a little bit more catalyst around what happened in October, right? So something also to be aware of, right? And just to take a look at this across the market front real quick, you could see that across the spectrum, like, it's still quite red. Like Dow Jones is down 1%, S&P down 1%, and also with respect to NASDAQ down 1%. 1 year yields is crazy high, 4.2%. And you could see that, with respect to the news front, nothing, is really driving anything positive, right? It seems like just a lot of negativity across the spectrum. And if you look at the whales, like what they've been acting so far, you can see that for BlackRock, as of yesterday, they sold quite a good amount, right? They also bought a good amount, but relatively speaking, it's definitely more of a heavy sell day. So $1 billion worth of Intuits yesterday, and if you count all of this up, this is like billions of dollars, a sizable percentage of the portfolio as well. And this is only for BlackRock. And if you take a look at ARK Invest as well, let's just take a look at how they're doing. Yeah, same thing, right? You can see that it's mostly of a sell day yesterday. They bought some, but relatively speaking, it's more of a heavy sell day yesterday. And then if you take a look at the politicians, it's been a while since we last visited what they were doing. You could see that they haven't really bought much for quite some time. It seems like they've been just selling. Like Nancy Pelosi sold Disney. This is almost a month ago now. But with respect to the buying pressure, is definitely not the most active from the political side. I believe they are anticipating, obviously, with respect to elections coming on the 8th, which is 5 days from now, less than a week now, that we might be seeing some more volatility coming. So what's the picture that we should ideally think about going forward, right? I think it's hard to predict the future, right? I think based on the media front and, the collective, efforts that we're seeing from the country so far, I have a feeling that the Republican side might be winning this one in the upcoming election, just based on our experience, with this downturn, and also, Joe Biden specifically. Not that I have a specific opinion on him, but like obviously, with the negativity that we're seeing so far, the economy is not doing well, and someone has to blame someone. It's either Jerome Powell or the administration. Despite it's obviously stemmed from the COVID and obviously the war and supply chain issues and all that stuff, but obviously someone has to get the blame. And I think as Wall Street stepping in, and if we are to shift onto the from Democratic side to the Republican side as a result of this election, we should technically see some sort of a incentivized reversal for the market front. And also with respect to the, again, right, later part of the week, 9, 10th, 11th will be the CPI and the PPI report, which should depict some sort of verbiage. And I think I don't think the Fed is gonna want to dampen our holiday spirits. So hopefully, we are gonna be gliding just diplomatically towards a more of a festive holiday as we are shifting onto Thanksgiving and subsequent to Christmas time. And also think about all the fund managers. Are they gonna be coming out, showing that their investors that they have done terribly this year, or are they gonna try to beef up the portfolio by window dressing, right? So what I mean by that means is typically you're gonna see some buying pressure year end just to kind of make their portfolio look better, right? Just before they close off that that taxation type of time frame, so we might see that happening, but we'll see how the next week's gonna play out, right? We are almost to the weekend, so hope you guys are gonna be expecting a nice weekend and less volatility coming. It's been definitely a crazy couple of months so far, so I totally understand, and I would resonate if you guys are frustrated or feeling some sort of way, as I feel the same as well. It's quite a lot of fatigue going on. So let's take a look at the technical without wasting more time. You can see that clearly we are looking to kind of glide down with respect to the cross section that we have had on the RSI front. You could see that we have canceled out on the 72 out of 70. It is looking to kind of come back down on a support level. 57 out of 70 right now as a support based on like the level that we've tested on 9/11 exactly. So I think what we need to do ideally to basically sustain the pressure is to maybe come back down to 1450, right? And then as that cross section come down on a MACD, you form a def cross obviously, and that will complete that revolutions by allowing for it to reverse up. If you take a look at the weekly as well, it's looking quite comparable, right, with this three heads. So we do need to come down a little bit, ideally at 1450 to 1250 in that spectrum, and then reverse up from here. On the monthly, it is looking quite nicely. It is showing that we should ideally reverse upcoming. So not a terrible setup for us to understand that we might be reversing up on the months out. And then on the Bitcoin side of the equation, you could see that it's doing very similar things. Weekly and monthly, weekly and daily are quite comparable. You could see that about to form a def cross on the daily. So coming down to ideally minimal level of 19,500 all the way to 17,500. It's not going to be that illogical from here. And then on the index front, we're down like 1% right now. It seems like we're just struggling. It seems like with respect to a weekly, it's about to cross up. So I think the worst might have been kind of baked in so far. You could see that we are looking to def cross on a daily, so we might see more volatility coming, which is not going to be surprising. So we are still trying to figure out which way we're going. And I think next week will give us that decision-making factor onto it. And you could see the stock front across this board is like relatively, mixed bag, up and down, not really, seems like we're trying to find a direction of where we're supposed to be going, right? And the reason is because like we're still, like yesterday was a wash, right? We had that anticipatory pressure, washed. Now we're just gliding, waiting for the next results to come out next week, right? Which is going to be quite monumental. Election day, CPI, PPI report. Okay. So appreciate you. Thank you for joining me this morning again. And apologies for missing yesterday. I know yesterday was a relatively important day for us to stay in touch. But let me know if you have any questions, and feel free to subscribe to our Patreon to, get more, one-on-one with me or stay in touch with me more closely. Appreciate you. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.